Good morning, gun nuts. It's Nathan from the Reloading Room, and welcome to our weekly recap of the Reloaders Network content creator videos that I've watched this week. Now, first off, as you may be able to tell, the sound's probably pretty awful, and my bench is pretty empty. We're doing some renovations here in the Reloading Room, and look out for that video to come out not this Monday, but next Monday. Well, West Desert Shooter did a live stream on Thursday night, I think it was, and I saw that it was a really great way to contact or connect with the viewers of the channel and kind of discuss issues that we may be having. It was the give and take, the back and forth is really conducive to people that are maybe getting into a sport. Like for him, he does a lot of long range shooting, so if you're interested in long range shooting, take a look, watch out for these live streams, because you can actually ask a question and then he gives you an answer right on the spot. If you have a little bit more of a question or you don't exactly understand, you can kind of get clarification. I think this is how I'd like to use me possibly doing a singular live stream. Now, me, Jage 586SW, Kyle Lusk, possibly Georgia Boy 44, and Amuza are going to be doing the Georgia Shooting Connection live streams on Fridays. But maybe if I do my own live streams at some point, maybe once a month or something like that, it'll be just for the purpose of speaking with the viewers and doing a lot more one-on-one back and forth. I just really like the way he did it. I think it was, it was a good way to do something. Speaking of doing things a good way, KFW has reached his 300 subscribers, and he is going to be doing a giveaway, and the way in which he is going to be doing the giveaway or choosing the winner of the giveaway is through the Reloaders Network. I think that's the way I'm going to go in the future. If I end up getting 300 subscribers at some point, and I think it's something for the rest of us to kind of look into. I think it's just a good way to do it. It's pretty manageable, and you have a much higher rate, or you have much better chances of getting actual viewers of your channel involved in that. Where some of the other channels have, when they're doing giveaways, there's people that are actually searching giveaways on YouTube and getting involved in it, whether they actually watch your videos or subscribe to your channel or anything. So this might kind of get around that problem a little bit. JH586SW posts the first range test with the 35 Remington. It doesn't go according to plan necessarily. There's a couple wrinkles that happen, but there's him and Kyle Lusk look like they have a really good time. And for me, sometimes I can get mired down into the load development process, and I can get really singularly focused, and some of the fun might leak out. And that video kind of reminded me that this is supposed to be fun, guys. So, GavinTube released the first review of one of the Brassmith line Lyman presses. And this is like the basic press. I don't remember the name of it. It's got some kind of name. Honestly, I'm not overly impressed with it. I don't see the point. It's this really big cast iron C-press. Okay. Looks like nothing on that press is what I would consider to be forward-thinking, progressive in the way of trying to solve issues or trying to make things better. I don't know. It seems the same old. I'm not really impressed with it. I think the 8-hole turret is going to be their bread and butter of their new press line. But honestly, I think between the orange paint on it, which doesn't, I'll be honest, I know a lot of reloaders that buy equipment based on the color of it. I think the orange paint's going to turn some people off. I think some of the other issues with that might come up. I'm looking forward to watching the GavinTube's reviews of them, of the presses. I think they're very well made, but I don't know as if they're going to be hot sellers, and I don't know as if they're worth giving up equipment you already have to possibly try it. Johnny's reloading bench. He takes some test rounds with his new AR-10. If you haven't been following along with his AR-10 build, it's actually been relatively quick with YouTube videos. I think he's 3 videos in, he's already testing. he gets a mixed bag of results. It's like, oh, this thing's not going to shoot, then it shoots pretty well. So watch that, because it gives you a good idea that like sometimes a powder will really perform very well in a very narrow band. And it takes a little bit of patience to get there, as long as you're using the right kind of powder, and good reloading practices. Sometimes it might take you a little bit longer to get there, but a lot of times it is there if it's the right powder for the cartridge. A Moozer, if you haven't found him yet, he's joined the Reloaders Network. He's got, I think he might have more subscribers than I do. He lives real close to me. Really, really, really good videos. He's just kind of getting started with reloading. So if you're interested in getting started in reloading, watching his videos will kind of help you to understand how the process is going to go for him, and how it may go for you. He's doing a series on the 6.5 Grendel, and I really, really like this series. He starts off kind of explaining why he chose that round, because it is kind of, I'm not going to say an oddball, but it's not the most popular. I mean, everybody's going, 300 blackout, 223, and others, but it's certainly not like everybody's first choice usually, but it may be that it should be your first choice. And he does a good job of explaining that. And then he kind of gets into his choices on reloading and his choices on the equipment he uses, and then kind of gets into it. And now he's actually taken, I think it's the 4th video was this week, where he actually tests. I really recommend checking this out. If you're new, it'll get you a really good idea of how to get into this. If you're an older reloader like I am, it's good to see fresh, like how people getting into it now. When I got into it, it was a slightly different process. So I think it's good for everybody involved. Take a look at him, and he told me that he is interested in joining the Georgia Shooting Connection live streams, so he should be onto that. All right, Uncle Jim goes and reloads some shotgun slugs using Winchester 12 gauge universal game and target loads. So it's interesting to me because I don't know much about shotgun reloading. I've never had a shotgun reloader. I think I messed with it a little bit when I was a kid helping out my dad. I really have no idea about how to do it. Never had much interest in it. However, possibly maybe later this summer, I may be getting a membership at another range that does more competition shooting, and I'm interested in possibly getting into 3-gun. So I'm gonna have to learn how to do it. So this was just a little bit more fun of a video, where he has some slugs casted up, and then he goes ahead and kind of pulls apart the Winchester game and target load, and kind of dumps out the shot, and then kind of reloads it back up. Great video. Goes and tests them. Uncle Jim, it's always going to be fun and interesting. Speaking of fun and interesting, Willie Bullet Man loads up some 38 specials with Tight Group, and he does a good job kind of talking about different content creators on the Reloaders Network, kind of what he's been up to, and cracks some pretty good jokes, and just generally just a fun video. On the other side of that, Full Lead Taco does a channel update. First, he explains kind of how the whole process of making a video works for him. And I can attest to this. Sometimes I try to film the video throughout the week and then post it on Monday. But there's certain times where, this takes a long period of time. And as you guys know, I try to get pretty detailed with my videos. So there's times when my videos don't necessarily take as long to film as his, where he gets very detailed, but he'll give you the whole process in one video, where I'll just give you one section of the process. So there's times where he has videos that take him, a month to film for a 6-minute video. And then kind of explaining how frustrating that can be when YouTube says that they're not interested in the work that you're doing. Well, he explains that he's doing kind of the same thing that I've been doing and Loads of Bacon's doing. I think it's because actually this is kind of Loads of Bacon's idea, or Loads of Bacon's view on how we should be doing this, and I think I agreed with it back in the day, because I was going to just drive it off the cliff. And then, as we talked about earlier, talked to Loads of Bacon, we kind of decided, no, let's go ahead and just, let's make truncated videos, redacted videos, and then post full videos on other sites. And that's what Taco's doing. He's on YouTube. Gunstreamer, BitChute, Dailymotion, and Vimeo. Vimeo is a paid website. I don't think, and they limit how much you can put into it. It's kind of a pain. And Dailymotion, I really don't recommend Dailymotion. Taco, if you were listening to this, the amount of commercials make it so hard to watch a Dailymotion video. So you're only going to get, somebody might sit through 2 commercials before they turn it. I don't know what the data is going to show on that, but after watching what it did to Taco's videos, I'm not going to spend my time because it takes a long time to upload these videos into different formats. And it also takes a long time to make this special truncated video, so you have 2 videos you got to create, one for everything else, then one just for YouTube. So he kind of does a good job of explaining all that and showing how he's going to go forward. And he also talks about the Second Amendment Foundation and how we should, how the Second Amendment Foundation is the legal force that is fighting for Second Amendment rights. I'm not 100%, educated on a lot of these areas. And it's funny because I was a political science major, and I knew kind of how the whole thing works, but I didn't really know fully how the Second Amendment Foundation exists and how it runs and how we can help them. So take a look at Full Ed Taco's video. Everybody's link's going to be in the description as always, guys. Join the NRA if you want to. I think it's a good idea. Join the Gun Owners America Second Amendment Foundation. There was some talk this week, and I'm just going to tag this on the end. I might actually delete this. There was some talk this week about the NRA, and it put me in kind of an odd position because I agree with those that think that the Second Amendment extends beyond just hunting. I agree with that. I don't necessarily agree that there is this huge, strong force within the NRA that just thinks the Second Amendment pertains to hunting. All right, so I don't necessarily believe that there is this underlying direction of the NRA to protect the Second Amendment, but only as it applies to hunting. I think that the vast majority, or the majority of the NRA, feel that the Second Amendment applies to all firearms. That doesn't necessarily mean it applies to all firearm modifications or all firearm accoutrement. How you guys feel about that is your business. I'm not going to put my 2 cents into it. I think that's what's got some people riled up, is that the NRA basically did not espouse their belief in certain bolt-on modifications to firearms. Okay, that's up to you guys. But I will say that I don't think it's a great idea to fraction our loyalty. In my experience, when you have one large organization that is going forward and lobbying and talking with senators and congressmen and getting support, that one large entity can get a lot done. They may not be the best speaker for every individual, meaning that they may espouse policies that you may not agree with, but they're more capable of actually getting policies created. Now, if you go and fracture that and you divide the NRA up into 4 or 5 different subgroups, none of them will be able to get done what the NRA could get done. There's been research on this for other other special interest groups, other rights groups, and it's just the truth. So I'm not a huge fan of, or I'm a little concerned about possibly fracturing the NRA over something that's perceived more so than is actually happening. But you know what, guys? That's up to you guys. It's all individual. I do agree that the Second Amendment applies to all firearms. There are certain laws in place regulating certain firearms, and maybe we need to work to get those overturned. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but until they are overturned, then that's the law. So anyway, guys, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far. Seriously though, check out NRA, check out Gun Owners of America, check out the Second Amendment Foundation. If you're interested in firearms, see what they do for you. Don't ride coattails, drop the bus. But all right, guys, I'm gonna get off here, and until next week, stay safe, have fun. I'll see you when I see you. Laters.